Hello there. It's Moonman coming to another fantastic video, and today what I want to kind of talk about is my hopes and words about the Kenobi show. Now this is going to be a shorter video than I normally do, so just sit back and relax, and before you do that, just drop me a like. It really helps out the channel, and with that out of the way, let's get started. So, let's talk about the hypes. Honestly, I cannot wait for this show. So, the first hype I want to talk about is the return of Obi-Wan Kenobi. One of the most essential Star Wars characters, and honestly, one of my favorites. I know many people definitely have their favorite characters like Yoda, Anakin, and Ahsoka, and anyone in between. But I am so excited to see Kenobi. He probably is like the most developed Star Wars character to me, especially if you watch the Clone Wars. If you watch some of his arcs in the Clone Wars, fantastic. And if you haven't, go watch them. Like, seeing Obi-Wan again just brings a tear to my eye because honestly, like, we really haven't seen him much, like after, you know, Revenge of the Sith. We've only really seen him, like, mostly just, you know, either in the OT or just pretty much in Star Wars, like the Clone Wars. Recently. We haven't really seen him, like, since Revenge of the Sith, so it's going to be nice to see him again. It's honestly like seeing an old friend. It's really nice to see. Another hype that I have is Vader is going to be in the show. I can't wait to see Vader. I really can't. Like, Vader is one of my favorite characters ever, so it is going to be nice to see him again. Honestly, like, Vader, like, you know, has really been, like, you know, everyone's, like, favorite character, especially after the Rogue One scene where he just massacres the rebels. Like, if you haven't watched that scene, it's definitely one of the best scenes that Star Wars has ever produced, probably in the last, like, you know, 5 years. But yeah, like, it's so good. And it's just gonna be nice to see him again because, like, you know, we haven't really seen him. We've seen him in Clone Wars, like, you know, once or twice, but not too much. So it's gonna be nice to see him. But what's also really good about seeing Vader again is that Hayden Christensen is going to be returning as Vader. Hayden Christensen, I feel like, was pretty much just given the worst rap for no reason. Just like Andrew Garfield. But in No Way From Home, Andrew Garfield turned out to be the best part of the movie. So, that's what I mean. This decade has been pretty much just giving people that second chance. Like, Andrew Garfield got his, and I can't wait to see Hayden Christensen get his when he plays Vader. Now, he's not going to do the voice, of course, but it's going to be nice to see Hayden, you know, being in a Star Wars project. He hasn't been in a Star Wars project since Revenge of the Sith, so it's going to be nice to see him, you know, finally get the spotlight he deserves. Another hype that I have for the show is pretty much just like, yeah, another hype that I'm going to see with the show is Qui Gon. I am happy that Qui Gon is going to be in the show because I personally feel like he's underrated because, like, not many people really talk about him because he wasn't really in, like, a lot of movies, but I'm really happy to see, like, Qui-Gon returning because, like, one thing that was really cool about the comic books was, his interactions with Obi-Wan, like, after Revenge of the Sith, because, like, Obi-Wan was really lost. Like, a lot of us, like, are now. Like, we really don't know what our purpose is or, like, really anything, so Qui-Gon was kind of there as, like, a moral pillar to, you know, help Obi-Wan, like, see that his goal was to help Luke and all that. And that's what, like, Qui-Gon was always good at doing, just being there for people and, you know, just helping out. So it's really nice to see him again. And I can't wait to hear the interactions, especially in live action, because, like, just seeing Liam Neeson again is also great, because he's a great actor, too. And plus, like, Qui-Gon really needs some more screen time. Like, he got some of it in the Clone Wars, but not enough. So, can't wait to see that. Another hype that I really have for the show is, like, just exploring a different part in the Star Wars, just pretty much, universe. We really haven't, you know, kind of explored the gap between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope that much. We really haven't. We've only either just been, you know, focusing on the prequels or just going 30 years in the future, which just kind of was a bad idea, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just happy to see, like, this period between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope kind of just brought into live action, because we really haven't seen a lot of it. So I can't wait to see how the Empire is functioning, how, like, you know, Jedi and, like, pretty much Obi-Wan are adjusting to, like, like, pretty much just the Empire. And it's just really nice to see how they're kind of, like, incorporating that. I mean, in the trailer, you saw Obi-Wan in rags, like, looking, like, really beaten up, like, pretty much just looking like absolute trash, which is what the Jedi kind of look like now that the Empire is just pretty much flourishing in the galaxy. So it's nice to see how everything looks. One that I will say is another hype that I have for the show is pretty much just with all the characters that are kind of being in the show. Like, I really was kind of like shocked to see the Grand Inquisitor. Like, I was not expecting them to actually have them in the show. Like, a lot of characters that I wasn't expecting in the show, like, you know, like Yoda, like Princess Leia and all that, are going to be in the show, so it's going to be really cool to see. Now, the Yoda one's a leak, so take that with a pinch of salt, but if that does happen, that would be awesome. Seeing Yoda again, especially live action, would be kind of cool. Frank Oz is great, too. So, if that were to happen, great. If not, it's not the biggest worry. But yeah, honestly, there's so many good things about the Kenobi show, especially in the trailer. Like, when I just saw, like, how Ian McGregor looked, he looked like Obi-Wan. He looked perfect. He looked like the role was there. There we go. I really do feel like Obi-Wan will always be everyone's kind of favorite Jedi. Or just, when they think of Jedi, that's pretty much who they think of. But, honestly, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like, I wish it was, but there's some things that I am definitely worried about. And after watching the Book of Boba Fett, I'm definitely more worried about this. Number one, the cameos. Honestly, like, I am very worried about that, because there was one thing that just has been annoying me recently in, like, Star Wars, is that it's pretty much just been becoming, like, fan servicey. Like, from Mando Season 2, it has just been non-stop fan service. Wow, Darth Maul just came out of nowhere. Like, pretty much, like, what I mean is this. Like, Season 2 just pretty much just was, like, you know, getting a lot of people into the show. Like, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Luke, and everything. Like, that's what I mean. They were just pretty much, like, just doing a lot of fan service. And in Book of Boba Fett, they just pretty much, like, they wrote Boba Fett out of his own story because they didn't think that he wouldn't do good enough, and basically just said, like, even the memes, like, with Mando just taking over the show and whatever, it's like, this is my show now. But that's pretty much what happened, like, with that show, is that, like, Boba Fett got tossed aside. They're like, yep, we don't need Boba anymore. And that's why, like, many people kind of, like, you know, didn't like the show, was because, you know, he wasn't the sole focus. And pretty much what I'm getting at is that I'm kind of worried that since, you know, like, I'm happy that Vader's in the show, and same thing with the Grand Inquisitor, but also Leia's gonna be in the show. So I'm kind of worried that they're pulling a lot of focus away from Obi-Wan. Like, they're having a lot of characters that weren't originally, like, a part of the story, like, in the comic books. Like, the comics, like, portray, like, you know, like, all the stuff differently than, like, how, like, you know, the trailer and all that are kind of portraying it. Which is kind of, like, exciting, but at the same time very worrying, because, you know, I'm just really worried at, like, the fact that it's just going to become a cameo show, and, like, Obi-Wan's basically just going to be on the wayside. Even though it's going to be the Kenobi show, he'll basically just be, like, a background character, kind of like Boba Fett was, which I hope doesn't happen. Another worry that I kind of have is that Disney isn't really, like, you know, following kind of canon. Like, I'm very worried about that, because Obi-Wan was originally, like, his job, if you didn't know, was going to be to protect Luke. That's pretty much his job. And that has always been his job in canon. But with the show kind of, you know, showing, like, he's on a different planet and stuff, like, yeah, like, that doesn't really look like it's the case. And I'm kind of upset, like, to see that they're kind of breaking canon just to do their own rules, because they kind of did it with, like, Boba Fett as well. So I'm kind of scared what they're going to do with that and the ramifications on what they have done. I'm just kind of scared on that front. Like, I hope that, like, they, like, you know, kind of break old canon in a good way and not, like, in a bad way. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I personally am trying to be optimistic, but at the same time, I'm kind of skeptical. I very much am. And like a lot of other people. Another worry that I kind of have, and this is probably my last one, is that if like a lot of the stuff that they do have in the show is just mishandled. Like, well, one thing that was super annoying was how Boba Fett was just such like so lax. Now, again, Boba Fett is a trained killer, and he was being so lax in the show. And that is what, like, I'm kind of worried about, is that they're going to do, like, what they did to Boba Fett and make him the complete polar opposite of what he's supposed to be. Like, now, again, Obi-Wan at this time is supposed to be upset and everything. Like, he's supposed to be at his lowest point. Like, kind of how, like, people are in depression. But what I'm worried about is that, like, Disney is going to be like, hey, Obi-Wan's not going to be depressed and all that. No, he's going to be very upbeat and very cheery, even though, like, he just killed his best friend. No, I don't think that is ever going to happen. I hope it doesn't, because for one, that would be really, really counterinductive. It really would be, because just honestly, Obi-Wan is kind of recovering from Revenge of the Sith. Like, he had to kill his best friend. That's not something that someone wants to do. Obi-Wan does not, like, he did not relish in the fact that he killed Anakin. He didn't. It haunted him in his dreams. He has his best friend's lightsaber in his chest, pretty much. He's so worried, like, about Luke becoming that he pretty much has to commune with Qui Gon and just be like, hey, is Luke gonna turn into this? And he's like, no, trust me, he won't, don't worry. And he was so worried just about everything. And yeah, if they like, and like what I'm worried about is that Obi-Wan is not gonna behave that way. Like, Disney's gonna change it around like they did with Boba Fett and be like, no, actually, he is more upbeat and cheery, actually, even though he just killed his best friend. Which I hope they don't do. I'd be really upset if they did. Because Disney has a habit of changing cool ideas and just making it worse. Like, for example, Rise of Skywalker. The Emperor's Return was way better in the comics, and they made it worse somehow in the movies. I was super upset, and I know many other people were too. So I really do hope that they actually, you know, do right and actually make the Kenobi show that we all want to see. But honestly, we have till May to see. I think it's going to be great, but I do have my skepticism. So this is kind of like a shorter video than like the normal ones. Like, normally they're like 15-minute long, but yeah, I want to make it a little shorter because we have nothing to really talk about since we only have like 1 or 2 trailers and some leaks. But if you really enjoyed the video, I really hope you did. I'm a huge Star Wars fan and really hope that a lot of people kind of, you know, like understand what I'm kind of saying and just kind of see how they kind of feel about the show. If you have not watched the trailer, go watch it, see how you feel about it. I personally feel like it is going to be a good show. It's definitely looking better than Boba Fett, but, you know, it could change. It could change. But with that out of the way, I'm going to get off. Honestly, have a lovely day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in the next video. All right? Bye-bye.